Well, I'm here in Rio, a city known for Carnival, New Year's Eve, stunning beaches, and of course, Christ the Redeemer, the statue. The thing I love about Rio is that mix of cosmopolitan living with the laid-back beach life. Regardless of the weather, there's always something to do here. And you can imagine the impact that weather has on a city that is so connected with the beach and the ocean. But man, when I met the people, that's when you really see the connection with weather, and it became so obvious. So come with me and let's take a look at this stunning place on earth, Rio de Janeiro. Rio is the second largest city in Brazil. It encompasses approximately 485 square miles and is called home to nearly 6.5 million people. It was founded by the Portuguese in 1565, however the Europeans first encountered its massive Guanabara Bay in January of 1502, and they named it Rio de Janeiro, which translates into the January River.
I was born and raised here in Rio de Janeiro and spent the initial 19 years of my life here before I started traveling professionally. My family has been living here in Rio for the past 3 generations, and my great-grandparents came from Lebanon, France, Italy, and also Portugal. Spending more time on the water made me a more humble person, and after that, I've been focusing my life around the simpler things, spending more time with family and friends, for instance, caring about the old ones on the family.
Rio is located in the southern hemisphere close to the Tropic of Capricorn. Its tropical savanna climate is reminiscent of coastal southwest Florida. With monthly mean temperatures over 64 degrees and a distinctive wet and dry season, its heaviest rains typically come between December and March, which is Rio's summer. The average annual minimum temp is 70, with the average annual minimum high at 81. How does weather impact your business?
Extreme weather impacts in many ways. For instance, if it's too hot, it might be uncomfortable because of dehydration, and in case it's too windy, it might raise the waves a little bit, and the experience might be uncomfortable. We don't have extremely rain or fog here in Rio. It's very common to have fog during the morning, but then it gets dissipated by the sun. And extreme rain only happens during the summer, and usually by the end of the day. So that's the time in which we are already returning to the marina, so it doesn't really impact us much.
I'll tell you, being out on the water takes you to an entirely different dimension experiencing Rio, a view most people never get the opportunity to see, a stunning view back at a massive city that abuts the sea. What do you love so much about Rio?
I love our nature. I think we have the most beautiful beaches and rainforest right next to it. And I'm also really proud of our culture. I think it brings the roots of the formation of Brazil. I'm particularly affected by the Olympics because the marina in which I stay is an Olympic venue. So I'll have to take the boat out for pretty much 75 days. And I will go to the Bay of Ilha Grande with it.
There's no better way to experience a city than to ask a local where they like to go. So I asked Daniel, what's your favorite spot in Rio?
Urca.
Urca, okay. And so here we are in Urca. Why do you like Urca so much?
Because it's a planned neighborhood, you have full availability of all of the services. It's really safe because there is a military base. You also have availability of police officers around. So I feel safe. I feel that you don't have to deal with big city issues here around the neighborhood. I'm Carioca da Gema, at least for the previous 3 generations.
Well, that's Daniel's Rio, a quick look into the life of a man who supplements his profession with a hobby and love for the sea, a man who enjoys living and showing others the wonders of experiencing his Rio, and a man that epitomizes the spirit of Rio and all that it has to offer. You know, every city gets some sort of rap, good or bad, but when you embrace the people that make up a dynamic city like Rio, it returns a bunch of love and welcome smiles, and a payback in spades. That boat ride with Daniel was amazing.
Well, that was really awesome.
I mean, we had the fog in the morning, then it cleared off, and then that fog rolled in kind of along the coast later in the day.
I love the fog in Rio, and also I love those islands. It's just,
Off the coast. So those are the Cagajas?
Cagajas. That's right.
And looking back at Rio,
wow. You see all the Christ Redeemer, Sugarloaf, the whole beach and the buildings, and the forest in the back. That's really, really cool.
and it was also cool when Daniel pulls out the slab of meat in Brazilian fashion.
Oh my God, that was the best part. One of the best parts, actually.
I mean, he just kept serving chicken, beef, you name it.
I was so full.
I know. That was such a great day.
Yeah, it was.
It's awesome, but if you were going to suggest another place to go that was impacted by weather, more importantly, where would that be?
Well, there's a person that you should talk to. Her name is Georgianette.
Right.
And she knows a lot about that. So I can give you her contact and, straight to the point.
Perfect. While the weather in Rio sometimes changes by the moment, but there are plenty of things to do in Rio regardless of the weather. Churches, beaches, parks, and a couple of iconic spots that are a must-see. But before I reveal those, I'm going to turn to the expert, a woman who has dedicated many years of her life sharing her love for this spectacular place, come rain or shine, with others.
My name is Georginette. I was born in Rio de Janeiro. That's why I am Carioca da Gema. I've been working with tourism business for more than 25 years, and that's why I love my city.
You know, there are icons around the globe, big and small, that are really just statements of us as human beings. They set the tone for a city, a museum, or an overall just general state of mind. Whether you're drinking a glass of rosé under the Eiffel Tower or taking a selfie at the Statue of Liberty, these places, they make up memories and they are forever ingrained in our culture. Well, if you're going to tackle Rio's big icons, you better put away your fear of heights. So today, I'm tackling Christ the Redeemer and Sugarloaf Mountain.
Corcovado in Portuguese means hunchback. The 710 meters granite peak is located in Tijuca Forest National Park. Corcovado Hills lies just west of the city center, visible from great distance. Everywhere you can see Corcovado. It is known worldwide for the 38 meters statue of Jesus Christ. Its peak entitled Christ Redeemer or Cristo Redentor.
Now, there's a variety of ways to get to the Jesus statue, but I took the simple route and just took a car. You can walk it, you can hike it, you can also take a train. What is it about the Christ statue that you like so much?
It's because of the panorama view. When you are there, especially during the night, you see our city. You can see our city, the Maracanã. We can see even the Sugarloaf. We can see the pier, and you feel like if you are a bird on the top. That's why I love that.
Georginette, tell me about Sugarloaf.
Well, Sugarloaf in Portuguese, we say pão de açúcar.
Pão de açúcar.
Yeah,
okay.
Pão de açúcar means bread of sugar.
All right,
sugar
so
means
pão is sugar, is bread.
No, pão is bread,
okay.
And sugar is açúcar.
Okay, all right, good.
So it's a bread made of sugar.
Okay.
And has the shape of a pão
of
de
a
açúcar.
loaf of bread.
Yeah.
How do you get up there? Because there's two mountains.
Yeah, two mountains.
Okay.
The first mount is 200 meters,
okay.
And the second mount is the double. So,
okay, so 200 meters for the first one, 400 meters for the second.
For the second one.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, if you are afraid to take the cable car,
okay.
You can go up to the first mountain.
Okay.
You can go by a path.
Yep.
It takes 1 hour.
Okay. Well, there are many places to see in Rio, but one of my favorite spots is Sugarloaf Mountain. I do have a fear of heights, so today has been a little bit of a mental challenge for me, but I wanted to get up here and show you a look at Rio from above. How special a human icon like Georginette, educating others on her city and her home, showcasing two city icons like Corcovado, the Christ statue, and Pão de Açúcar, Sugarloaf Mountain. You know, this is what makes up the real Rio. People embracing their culture and embracing their icons, and people embracing each other with a hug, a smile, a bom dia, a botage, any iconic way to spread the love in Rio.
Can you believe how cloudy it's been all week? Cloudy and rainy the entire time we've been here?
We flew like 5,000 miles to get here, and we've had like 1.5 days of sun.
And the weather has just been terrible. It's not usually like this, so I'm sorry about that.
And what about our hotel? The pool's been empty the entire time we've been here. I mean, between the rain and the clouds, there's been no business there. I can't imagine how much that impacts them, especially the workers who work outside.
Yeah. So, you know, the other day when we took that walk on the beach, I noticed all those vendors, and they have to haul all their things from far away to sell their wares on the beach. And with all this rain, it's got to be killing their business.
Well, and you know hotel management, right? You should really talk to them about how the weather impacts their business.
So let's do it. Propose a toast to Rio. Saúde. So I wanted to learn more about the Copa. So I turned to the general manager, Andrea Natal.
So the hotel was built in 1923. So the president of the Republic asked Otávio Guinle, who had already a hotel downtown, a famous hotelier, to build a hotel for the celebration of the centenary of the independence of Brazil.
Rio's this mega city on the coast where motorcycles meet Range Rovers, where high heels meet flip-flops, where suits meet sungas. A true cultural dichotomy in a climate conducive to a laid-back lifestyle. So there's so many things to do, to see. You just got to turn to the expert, the local, the concierge.
Well, I was actually born and raised in Rio,
Right.
not far away from the hotel in Leblon.
Okay.
So I'm a carioca, born and raised in town.
And so that's Carioca de Gema,
Carioca da Gema, yes.
the yolk of the egg. Is that right?
Exactly, yes.
Okay. Well, weather impacts our lives every day, but in the hotel business, everyone is keeping their eye on the sky. The weather really doesn't change much through the year in Rio. Average highs and lows only vary by like 10 degrees, but November through March, things really heat up. The humidity levels rise, and that's when Rio comes alive. But how does it impact the people? You have to be looking at weather all the time.
All the time. Well, that's a major thing in our job. The weather is constantly changing in Rio, so we always need to reschedule something. I mean, the guest's going to the Corcovado, but the rain is coming, so what's he gonna do next? But Rio provides such different activities, so that's a good thing to be a concierge in Rio.
I love my job. I love to be here. I live in the hotel, and I think we are very special because we are well located. We have enough space. We are an iconic building. We are not like any other buildings. Like we are not only a tower. Once you get into the lobby, and then in the pool area, you feel like you could be not only in Rio, but you could be in any place that reminds you a paradise. Because you feel like disconnect, and you feel peace, you feel safe, you feel loved.
This property, as you mentioned, has a lot of history. A lot of very important people stayed here. Hollywood stars since the beginning, so it's got a very important connection with the U.S. and past Hollywood stars.
Right.
You'd be happy to see them in the Hall of Fame. So that's a cool place to be.
Right.
93 years of history and working very well. It's an icon here in Brazil.
I have a really good idea. I think what you need is an on-staff meteorologist.
Yeah, are you applying yourself?
I'm applying, yes. I'm submitting my application effective right now.
So there you have it. 93 years, 33,976 days, or 4,854 weeks since its opening. Can you imagine being a fly on these walls? Princess Diana, Walt Disney, the Rolling Stones, Elton John, Michael Jackson. I mean, the list is endless, and it just keeps going on. So many stories, so much history centered in the heart of Copacabana, centered in the heart of Rio, and centered in the heart of the people of Rio. The people of Rio that have kept this place going all these years. That is the real Rio. I love the kiosk. These things line the beaches of Rio about every 200 yards, and each one has its own personality. Being out in nature though, directly on the beach, can you imagine the challenges for a kiosk owner? But I wanted to see what was behind each one of these cultural beach phenomena. What made these things tick? Who made them tick? And how weather impacts their life and their business. Well, you can't describe the feeling of walking along the beaches of Rio, but just to show you the relentless swell of the Atlantic Ocean crashing along the shore, the white noise hum of those waves, and the cultural collision of people from all walks of life in this fabulous city on the sea. They eat, they drink, they socialize, which has created this subculture of the kiosk, or kioski in Portuguese.
35 years ago when Baja was just starting out, they were food trucks, trailers on wheels. People would set up during the day. At the end of the evening, they'd go back home.
Barra da Tijuca is the epicenter of the Olympics. Most Olympic events, in fact, will be held in this part of Rio. It's a relatively young neighborhood. It rapidly expanded in the 80s, and it's a high-demand upscale neighborhood full of politicians, celebrities, and wealthy Brazilians who want the city living along with a stunning coastline. Baja's only about 10 miles south of Ipanema and Copacabana, but it feels like a world away from the city.
Originally, I grew up outside of D.C. in Northern Virginia, right near Langley, Virginia. After that, after college, I moved out to San Diego, there for about 15 years, and then 3 years ago, my wife and I moved down here to Rio de Janeiro.
Sou do Rio de Janeiro. I'm from Brazil.
From Brazil.
Rio de Janeiro.
All your life?
All my life.
Carioca de Gema?
Carioquíssima da Gema?
Sim?
Sim!
Wow! Rio's weather doesn't vary much in terms of temperatures. The average high is about 75 to 85, with the average low about 65 to 75. It heats up big time in December to March. It's not uncommon to see highs in the mid-90s, and it's pretty sunny too. They get about 150 to 200 hours of sunshine every month. The water temperature about 70 in August, 80 in February, and the humidity is actually pretty consistent, but the heat index easily soars over the century mark in summer. A Frenchy free or a cold front comes through, ushering in windy, damp conditions during the winter months, July to September. So of course I had to ask, how does weather impact your business?
Weather has a substantial impact on business.
So what's the ideal day?
37, 38 degrees and sunny. When it's extremely, extremely hot, during the day, there's less people on the sidewalk. Everyone's on the beach to be able to go into the water all throughout the day. Mainly the movement then starts about 3, 4 in the afternoon when everyone starts leaving the beach to come up, relax, get something to eat, watch the sunset, have a few drinks.
And what's a day where you just say, it's not going to happen?
Yeah,
Cold and rainy.
Cold, rainy, and windy.
Windy.
And what is cold?
Cold is
20s.
Yeah, 20.
15s.
Okay, so
Celsius.
that's 20
Low.
Celsius.
Yeah,
Yeah,
less than
low
about
50s,
55.
yeah.
Low 50s. It drops
Yeah.
dramatically.
Nobody's out.
Yeah.
Nobody's out.
There's something about a kiosk that is so special. It's nothing fancy. It's just some chairs, and some of them are flimsy. The umbrellas are dated and old, and some of the structures are built when I was a kid. But each kiosk offers a different experience. Some focus on libations by the sea, a mix of food and drink. Some even sell jewelry. But it's a spot that provides this unique mix of characters and locals that makes the kioski culture so fantastic. And what is it that keeps you so motivated to keep coming back every day?
Well, I think first and foremost, it's obvious. We're on the beach. It's hard to get it, it's easy to get up in the morning when I get to go see the palm trees, the smell of the ocean. And then secondly, it's the friends that we made here. We show up in the morning, they call us by name. Oh, you guys are late. We've been waiting on you. We open up the chairs. They help us open. It's just great. It's a great thing. It's a feeling of family that we've been able to forge here with our customers. And I think that's what we look forward to the most. It's being with them and serving them.
Well, there it is, another look at the real Rio. You know, Giselle, a local karaoke Brazilian whose life collided with Kevin, a guy from Washington, D.C., they formed a special extension of home for hundreds of Brazilians living next to their kiosk. All this coming together, regardless of the weather, to form bonds that'll last for a lifetime. I like to stay in different hotels when I visit a city because it really does provide an opportunity to see a city from a different perspective. The concierge at the hotel is a vital link to any city, and I always leverage their knowledge because you never know who or what you're going to meet or find through that connection. I have met so many interesting people through the concierge connection, so many great people with so many great stories, and each one has a unique story to tell.
I have worked here for 15 years. It's a rare day the Idmac is not here. He's a special man, really special man, a creative person, a gentle soul.
Well, I want to learn more about this gentle soul, and my Portuguese is limited, so I enlisted my good friend Hosani to approach him and ask him to commission a painting for me from a photo.
Of his childhood, because he's from Bahia. So Bahia, so 70% of the population there, they're black. So they came from slaves.
The city of Rio is divided into geographical zones, and every zone features a neighborhood that's unique only to Rio. One of my favorite neighborhoods is Copacabana, a bairro, a neighborhood with an eclectic mix of people and tourism. It's here in Copacabana, by pure happenstance, that I would end up making a lifetime connection.
Como você entrou para o mundo da arte?
Eu entrei para o mundo da arte pelo meu fascínio pela natureza. Eu sou um profundo admirador da natureza. E ela nos oferece a cada segundo uma sensação, dependendo do ângulo que nós estamos observando.
Rio receives on average about 42 inches of precipitation a year. It's never been colder than 39 degrees or hotter than a sultry 110. You know, it sees rain on average about 93 days of the year, and it does have a distinct rainy period, November through January. Rio's in the southern hemisphere, so its seasons are flipped from the northern hemisphere. And there's no doubt about it, weather impacts life, tourism, and yes, even an artist.
Ele quer que o senhor fale disso, né? Se o tempo influencia o trabalho do senhor.
Se o calor é desconfortável, eu evito. Às vezes, o calor é agradável, dependendo do ambiente que eu esteja. Quando chove, para mim, é um detalhe muito importante que eu sinto que a natureza, eu junto com a natureza, me transformo. Quer dizer, é um conforto conforme eu sinto as árvores, as plantações realmente se confortarem com um pouco da água, eu também me conforto. E aí me dá inspiração para que eu possa desenvolver um trabalho baseado naquele visual.
The reality is that weather does impact us all, every single moment of every single day. As I pivoted around that room, staring at the years of art, the hours of the labor of love, I couldn't help but wonder, what was the weather like on the day that Ikmachi started each of those stunning works of art? Some were sad, some were happy, some surreal, and some just totally undefined. A man, his lovely wife, a modest apartment, here in the heart of Copacabana. A man to quickly point out, of course, who wears the pants in the house. But I had to ask, what's up with the hotel lobby visits? Every day.
Para mim, para que eu possa encontrar um ambiente agradável, eu indo ao barril. São pessoas que estão ali alegres, felizes, são educadas, têm um tratamento bastante humano, agradável e que me faz bem.
So yet another story of a person with so much depth, so much creativity, and so much love for his city, his family, and of course his life and art. Imagine having a passion for something so strong that it would captivate you every day for 70 years. It was pretty easy to guess what his favorite place in Rio was, but I just had to ask.
Agora, Rio de Janeiro, me referi a Copacabana pela grande oportunidade que tem acesso à praia, a facilidade que eu tenho de ir à praia, encontrar com a natureza.
Já trabalha 10 anos como meteorologista, seu Edmar.
Ele é meteorologista?
Sim.
É, beleza.
Sim. É paixão.
É paixão?
Sim.
Né?
Eu amo.
Igual a mim, igual a pintura.
Sim.
Igual.
Sim.
So here we are, two guys from totally different walks of life, not speaking each other's language, yet we form that special bond in the real Rio. Oh, and the painting of my little guy Digger, he totally nailed it. Pretty cool to think that every time I look at my boy, I'll think of a man from Rio that captured the soul of man's best friend on canvas, and also captured my heart. So that's the real Rio. Rio impacted by weather every day, whether it's hot and humid in the days of summer or cool and breezy in the winter, morning fog socked in the early morning hours, or then a bright day of sunshine that helps keep tourism and the beaches alive. Rio is a place for culture and excitement, and Rio is a place for special people who go with the weather flow and make weather an embraceable part of their lives. You really do become one with nature here in Rio. Whether you're on top of the Corcovado, sailing out at sea, sitting at a kiosk, running a historic hotel, or planning for an Olympic event, this is the real Rio.